Hey, this is Soap, and I'll be doing a tutorial slash VOD on Earthshaker. It is a Scrim game. It's a AP remake. We ended up with Anti-Mage, Earthshaker, Crystal Maiden, Broodmother, and Windrunner, and they got Spectre, Clockwork, Lich, AA, and Sven. We're going to tri-lane bottom against them because we believe we have the stronger tri-lane, and we're pretty confident that they're going to do a tri-lane bottom. We're not sure what their other lanes are going to be. We suspect it's Lich top, Clockwork mid, so we're going to put the Broodmother top because we're going to try to push down their Lich lane because Lich is going to deny creeps for Broodmother, which helps him push nonstop. And Windrunner is going to be able to beat Clockwork mid. I start off with 3 Clarities, the Chicken, and 3 GG and the Ancient Tango because I'm going to need the Clarities just for mana regen in general because Earthshaker is really pretty useless without mana. So I'm going to want to be staying farther back in the tri-lane and really just bailing out the Anti-Mage or looking for a chance to fissure off either the Ancient Apparition or the Sven. I did get a Tango over the Salve because I figured the Salve isn't that great against like residual damage. If it is a tri-lane against us, then there's going to be a lot of like mini fights, not ones where I'm getting close to death. They'll just be like harassed from the Ancient Apparition or a Spectral Dagger. So I just want the Tangos to make sure I'm not going to get sniped and I'm at full HP constantly, so that if they do make a go on me, which they most likely won't, they'll make a go on the Anti-Mage. However, I will be safe with full HP. However, what happens is their tri-lane ends up top against the Broodmother, but without any sentry wards, they're going to have a lot of trouble actually killing the Broodmother, so we're going to be fine in that lane, and we end up against a solo Clockwork. So what we're thinking right now is we're going to stay and babysit the Anti-Mage just for a little bit, so he gets a couple of creep kills under his belt. I do try to fissure off the Clockwork to get a kill, however, it's wishful thinking because it's too close to tower. Crystal Man does get some nice harass on him. And basically what we're thinking now is Anti-Mage is going to be fine against the Clockwork. I mean, Clockwork does have rocket spam, but Anti-Mage, every time he gets near the creeps, he's just going to drain Clockwork's mana. And he's essentially going to be able to win the lane. And we know for a fact that Lich and Windrunner, Lich is going to have a pretty easy time against Windrunner because of the constant denying of creeps. So he's going to start losing out the lane. So after the pause, we decide that we're going to go gank middle. I do Clarity up after using it, and Clockwork did cancel one of mine with a rocket. I thought I was outside of range, but I was just inside it. So we're going to go middle. And we don't actually need to smoke for this mid gank because their supports are top. So we know that they're not going to actually be able to come in. We know that they didn't lay a ward here, or if they did, they would have had to lay it really early, and we're figuring that they didn't, especially because of how the Lich plays. We're confident that the Lich is going to be an easy kill. And I just run up and I just get a nice fissure off after the shackle shot, and it's just pretty much an easy kill. I fissure off his path to escape, his typical path, which is what you want to fissure off, is going up this ramp here. So my fissure spanned here and stunned him at the same time. So we got the damage on him, and there's no way he's going to be able to run away. So basically we're just going to go back down, and we're just going to basically loop around again. After picking up the Invision that we neglected to take on the first time, we're just gonna run up and we're just gonna gank the Lich again because we really want Windrunner to get farmed because our plan is to fight 4v5. We're gonna try to tie up their team while Broodmother pushes top lane all the way to the racks. So we're gonna need a farmed Windrunner and a farmed Anti-Mage to be able to do that. Otherwise, they're not gonna be able to take on the team 4v5. So Lich does deny the creeps, so the shackle shot doesn't hit, and Windrunner is playing really aggressive because he knows me and Crystal Maiden are here. And I do cancel my fissure because it's not gonna land. However, he does kill the crow because of the fissure cancel, but we're able to get the kill instead, along with it. So it's a pretty good trade overall. You can see that Crystal Maiden's not very happy that we got the courier killed. It was a bit neglectance on the Windrunner. He probably shouldn't have brought the courier there when we knew that we were coming in for a gank. And it was kind of just poor play in general by us. However, we do get the kill. So that does make up for it. And we're just going to rotate bottom. You can see Crystal Maiden pinging it. We're going to rotate bottom and try to get a kill on the Clockwork to help out the Anti-Mage, who is doing really well with 15 creep kills against 10. So we do go bottom, and I'm going to try to fissure off his escape path, which is this way. So you see I walk straight up, and I just fissure him off. He gets stunned, and he can't escape, so he's got to cut through trees. Unfortunately, Crystal Maiden is only at 32 mana, so she's not able to slow, and because of that, Clockwork's able to cut his way out. So some really nice tangos by him, and unluckily, Crystal Maiden was out of mana, and he is able to escape. So we're going to stay around here and try to get up our level 3s, because I want the extra level of Fissure to do more damage, and we want Crystal Maiden to be able to get her aura, because Windrunner and Broodmother and me all need the aura from Crystal Maiden. You can see their supports do try to get a gank on it, but Windrunner's pretty hard to gank in general, so they're not able to get the kill on it. They're not able to get a kill on her, which means their supports wasted a lot of time roaming to the mid lane for really no gain at all, which is completely different from us since we already have 2 kills from it. So I do pick up a Sowing Mass just to give me some more regen, because I am roaming around almost non-stop. And you can see Crystal Maiden's going to go back to base because she's low. However, I'm not really needed to help the anti-mage at all. He's doing really good farming. So I decide that I'm going to go back middle, and I'm going to go gank the Lich again. And you can see Windrunner is doing good against the Lich, even though Lich does have a higher level with 2 deaths because of Dark Ritual. Windrunner is more farmed, and he's able to harass the Lich to a really good extent. So Lich is pretty low. He does salve. However, with me coming in, he's going to put a lot of pressure on the Lich to try and bait him out. And you can see Lich is going to fall for it. He does hit that, and then he's going to be really low. However, he's not going to be able to get the kill with a nice salve play. And I'm going to come up, and I'm just going to fissure off the path he's going to most likely run, which is down this way. The power shot does miss, but with the regen rune and the wind run, he is able to catch up, and we were able to get an easy kill. Now, you saw me cancel my fissure again because I first placed my fissure down up here because I thought that he was going to run forward to try to kill the Windrunner, because Windrunner was turning around to get the power shot off. However, he decided that that was a poor idea, rightfully so, since he wasn't going to get the kill. And he started to run back, so I canceled it and then fissured off his escape path. So I'm gonna roam around again, because the 2 lanes we're trying to scare off is mid lane and bot lane. We're trying to make them play more passive, so our chances of winning the lane go up. Especially mid lane, because we really want the Windrunner to be able to carry us mid game. So you can see here, I'm coming in for another gank. Crystal Maiden's there as well, and we're just going to go on the Lich again. Lich doesn't know I'm here, and he doesn't know Crystal Maiden's there because of some good placement, and we're being very patient. And you want to be very patient if you're playing a roaming Earthshaker. You don't want to be super aggressive because there's no need. And you can see a good shackle shot, and then I'm just going to run around, and I fissure off the creep here. There's no need for you to like Rambo in when you're playing the supports, because just the fact that you're not on the map scares them off. You can see their supports do come in, and they do get a kill, and they're trying to work on the Crystal Maiden. Sven is low mana, however, I do land a nice fissure, just blocking off the Sven. There's no way their supports are going to be able to kill us now, even though we're both pretty low on mana in general, and we're able to walk out just fine. So I'm going to speed this up a bit because the game is fairly boring in general, and we're basically just buying time for Broodmother and Anti-Mage to get farmed, and they're doing the same for their Spectre. However, our roam is fairly effective, and theirs isn't. I do pick up boots, and you pretty much want to pick up boots as every support hero as one of your first items, because the fact that you're able to run faster means you can get from one place to another in more time, which means that even though, well, obviously you can do that, but it means that they're going to not account for the fact that you're gone for less time. So it's harder for them to call missing. It's harder for them to play passive for longer amounts of time because they don't actually know where you are. See, we do believe they're warded, but however, Lich is playing far forward, so we're not really sure what he's doing here. And we're being patient again, waiting in the jungle. However, we're very close together, and we do have a bit of sight of him, so we can kind of see him coming, but we don't quite realize it, and he comes up and he just chain frosts us in general. So the problem with this here was we were doing everything we needed to do. However, for one, he knew where we were, so there's probably a ward around here or up here. Usually either this spot here, because that sees up here and this area, or it's the ward right here on this cliff. You don't want to lay it on this cliff. You want to lay it right here because that sees both the rune and the hill up here. So we both do feed Lich a double kill, which is pretty bad. However, it's not the biggest deal because you can see that even with his denies and the double kill, he's still level 7, and so is our Windrunner. So I'm going to speed it up again. There's a pretty easy kill going on the Clockwork bottom, which it's a hasted Windrunner pretty much guarantees you're going to get a kill. And I'm going to start roaming around again because we're just trying to keep the Lich down as much as we can because he's a big portion of their mid-game superiority against us, and we think we have late game. So you can see a really good Shackle Shot, and then I fissure it. Now, you might be wondering why I didn't chain the stun. It's because, for one, there was no need for me to chain the stun because we knew we'd get the kill anyway with 3 of us there. The other reason is we were just trying to nuke down the Lich as fast as possible because one of the problems with ganking a Lich is that he can turn around and just ult you, and then you're just going to die. Because his ult primarily is best against, obviously it's best against 2 to 3 heroes. So ganking a Lich when he's level 6+ is really, it takes a lot of precision, and we don't want to just feed him another double kill. Because I believe his ult was on cooldown, off cooldown. So I'm going to roam around and really not do much. I'm just kind of looking for someone to gank in the bottom 2 lanes because we can't really fight top, especially because Broodmother really isn't the best ganking hero, and Broodmother really just wants to be left alone in general. So I see that there's no one to gank bot, so I'm just going to roam back middle because we're going to try to get another kill mid lane, and we notice there's a lot of them there. So you can see the Lich is doing some harass on Windrunner. Windrunner tries to get a Shackle Shot. I do fissure trying to get the stun, and we're just barely able to miss the kill. And Lich is we're going to force Lich back. It was really close play in general, and you can see that the range and why Earthshaker and Windrunner are so good together. The range on both their skills is just huge. I was all the way back here when I threw the fissure, and Windrunner was right about here, and we almost killed him. You can see Windrunner hits the Shackle Shot, and I was standing here initially when she hit the Shackle Shot. Instead of just throwing off my stun, I did chain it this time because it was needed. I ran down this way and then blocked him off. See, this is part of the positioning thing with Earthshaker. I'm going to try to do it again here, where I run in front of the clockwork and then try to get the stun off. However, there is an issue this time, and my fissure wasn't off cooldown when I initially tried to do the stun. However, it doesn't matter because we are able to get the kill, and I do fissure off this side. You can see we get the kill there. I do fissure off this side because I didn't want to block the Windrunner or the Crystal Maiden who were in pursuit. So, essentially, what I did here is I noticed that you basically want to do 2 things when you're going to throw a fissure. You want to notice where do you think they're going to run next. You want to, so I thought that Sven was going to try to run here. This is his escape route. You want to block that off, and you want to make sure that your fissure isn't blocking off your teammates. So obviously, if I'm forcing Sven to my teammates, I'm not blocking them off. However, if I would have thrown the fissure here against the Clockwork, who's right here, and I would have thrown it like this direction, Clockwork would have been able to run this way, and my teammates would have been blocked off, so that would have been a poor fissure. So you want to make sure you're placing your fissures properly because it's a really great spell. However, if you miss them or you're off on them, it can be really detrimental to your team. Along with that, you can press S to cancel your fissure, and you'll notice I do that. I've done that occasionally. I've done it like about 2 or 3 times so far, simply because my fissures have been off, and I wanted to make sure they're correct. This is just like I have enough mana, so I throw off a fissure. There's really no way I'm going to fissure block him, and these 2 are not close enough to really get a kill on him. So it's more of just a wishful thinking. You can see the DD Windrunner, and we're going to try to push mid lane because our anti-mage is farming, and so is our Broodmother, who's taking the tower, and we're just trying to put pressure on them so that Broodmother is able to take their tower easily. And we're trying to get a bunch of towers pushed down fast because that means I can get my Blink Dagger, and we get more gold, and we're just trying to win before the Spectre really gets super buff. So you can see they're playing very aggressive here. Lich is running up the ramp, which is a really poor idea, and you can see I'm going to miss the fissure entirely because I didn't realize he had a force staff, and he force staffed right as I went for the fissure. And Ancient Apparition does get the kill on the CM. However, it's not too big a deal because it was a really good force staff, so he forced him into tower range, and we do get the kill. You can see that anti-mage is coming from the backside, and we're going to go for the Ancient Apparition. I run down this way and get off the fissure. This is where he's going to run. I know that's where he's going to run. So I fissure off his path there and also get the stun. Initially, I was here behind the anti-mage. So if I just threw the fissure right away, it would block off this path. And while that might be a decent path and we might have still gotten the ult, there's no way he's ever going to escape if I block off this path. And then anti-mage picks up an easy kill. And anti-mage is now 2-0 with 74 creep kills compared to 0-0-1 and 70 creep kills on the Spectre. So you can see the farm of our 2 carries is pretty even. However, the farm of our semi-carries, which is Windrunner and Lich, is a huge difference. There's 53 to 16 and 7-1 to 2-6. Plus, there's a 3-level difference. You can see Anti-Apparition picks off a really nice kill on the Windrunner. He ulted from inside his base from being dead after we just picked him off. So that was a really good play. Now, I'm going to grab an Invisor in here, and I'm a bit I'm thinking about we might be able to go on Clockwork, but then I notice he does have a Vanguard, and there's no way me and Crystal Maiden are going to be able to kill their Clockwork. It's just not going to happen. So I decided to go middle and try to get an ultimate off against the Lich and the Sven, because, however, I run middle and I wait a bit too long. I should have ulted right away, but I was worried about the Sven killing me. So I'm trying to wait for the Sven to leave, and then right as I go to ultimate, he denies one of his creeps, so I'm not able to get enough enough of his HP gone, and I just pretty much end up feeding. So it wasn't the best play. It was pretty poor play, actually. However, it was a decent idea. If you do find an Invis rune and you think there's someone you're able to pick off, well, one, make sure you're able to pick them off. I did calculate that wrong. If the extra creep was there, it would have bounced off. My ultimate would have done enough damage for one hit to kill him off. So it was a bit unlucky. Yeah, you can see I'm commenting I needed one more creep there. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit because it's essentially just Broodmother pushing against Spectre and Anti-Mage farming as well. So you can see that Anti-Mage is going to continue going for a Manta style because we're basically trying to push. And right here, Sven walks up. We're trying to wait for them. I do get off a fissure. However, we did a really nice split on Lich's ult, and that pretty much saves Sven in general, though, because Lich's ult would have killed us without the nice Force Staff, and then I split up this way. Anti-Mage comes around the backside, and we're going to pretty much get some pretty clean-up kills here. Lich's ult's down already, so a kill on the Sven, and I don't waste my fissure there because there's no need, and you see I walk up this way, and then I fissure off. We don't want him juking the Force, and we're able to get a pretty easy kill. Anti-Mage did ult for that. That was probably unneeded because there's 4 of us there, and we're pretty much able to get the kill anyway. All the while, you can see a ton of Spiderlings for Broodmother. Spectre hasn't left top lane until now because he's had to defend against Broodmother, and that's the power of Broodmother. You can see we're trying to get in position to get some kills here, and we're just stalling for Broodmother to take top lane. The Shackle shot was like one of those Shackle and just praise, and it didn't quite work. I am going to come in here. I'm in pretty decent position to get a fissure. However, I didn't think Anti-Mage was going to go. It was a bit of miscommunication, and then when he does go, I'm not in position to get a good fissure off anymore. So we do miss our fissure opportunity. However, it's not that big a deal since that was kind of like it was a really ballsy move by Anti-Mage, especially because he doesn't have his ultimate. And here they get a bit out of position, and I get a really nice fissure on him with a really nice Shackle, and I just walk in and just ult him. And they pretty much just evaporate from that. The ult doesn't do that much damage, but it does do about 250 damage to each of them. And Anti-Mage is now 5-0, so we're in a really good position where their Lich has been kept down. Our Anti-Mage is out farming their Spectre, and our supports have only died twice for each of us actually, because Crystalman got picked off somewhere. However, I do have 12 assists, so I'm 0-2 and 12 at the moment, and I'm starting to work on my Blink Dagger. And that's pretty much what you want to do after you have enough mana to cast everything. I didn't go Mana Boots this game because the Crystal Maiden Aura plus Soul Ring is just enough, and Mana Boots are more of a team-oriented item, and Broodmother's never with the team. Windrunner usually doesn't have any mana issues. Crystal Maiden is not going to have any mana issues, and neither is Anti-Mage, so there's really no point in me picking up Mana Boots here. I'd rather just go Soul Ring, which is cheaper, and then get a quicker Blink Dagger. So Anti-Mage is going to go for the tower here, and I'm going to fast forward again because the game is pretty much just both teams turtling and us slowly pushing them down. Windrunner's he's got a Force Staff, and he's actually going to pick up a Dagon now. I think it's pretty much a joke item because Dagon's really not that great, but it does come into play occasionally when we're trying to snipe off fast heroes because we are doing more of an early game lineup. Anti-Mage ramps up to damage faster than Spectre. Then Spectre becomes stronger late game, pretty much after he gets his Radiance and then it's a toss-up really late game when they both have max items. It just depends who kills the enemy supports faster. So I do Soul Ring, I do get a fissure, and it's a pretty crappy fissure in general. However, it's not a big deal because Crystal Maiden comes there and we do manage to get the kill on him. That fissure was just, I should have canceled it. I wanted to get the stun off, and I thought that there would be a Shackle shot going on at the same time. However, I mistimed my fissure, and yeah. I was in the correct position to throw the fissure. I just sort of thrown it down this way or S-canceled it instead of just throwing it out like that, because that's not one of those fissures when you just need the damage, because if they had more teammate support, that actually could have cost us. but not that big a deal because they didn't have anyone else there, and Lich wasn't able to get his ult off because of there were 4 of us. So you can see that they have really no wards. We haven't actually had to buy a smoke yet, and we're pretty much just roaming free in their jungle. We have complete map control, and all the while Broodmother's just pushing top. And this is literally what happens with Broodmother every game. This is why Broodmother is such an annoying hero. You see Ancient Apparition's ult hits us, and we're playing a bit too aggressively here. There's only one top. We don't see the rest on the map, and I do get hooked on by Clockwork. It's a nice hook, and I'm gonna go down now because of Clockwork 6. I do get a fissure off, and I fissure off their, basically I try to fissure off their entire team to stop it. Unfortunately, Lich gets a really nice ultimate and Spectre ult and gets a triple kill. What's even worse about this for us is Spectre didn't even TP to those. He got a triple kill just from his ultimate. So he's been able to AFK farm the entire time. And you can see now he does have 4.5k, so he's going to have a relic. So he's farming very well, and that's a pretty big deal for them because it puts them back. They were really far out of the game, but that basically puts them back in the game. Their Lich is still really under-leveled and everything. And we do have a level advantage. However, Spectre is now the highest level in the game. He hasn't died, as you can see we're pointing out. So we've really got to either get some ganks on Spectre, or we've got to start pushing down more towers because he will outcarry the Anti-Mage for a really large portion of the game. And then, as I said, it's kind of a toss-up late game. I TP mid, I'm just going to get some farm here because no one else is really going to come get it. I really don't need a farm as Earthshaker, especially when I'm still 1k from my Blink Dagger, and it's still not that important that I get a Blink Dagger this game, especially because they do have a lot of globalness, and my Blink Dagger is going to be canceled quite often anyway. However, it's not to the point where I'm not going to go Blink Dagger and I'd forsake that for Force Staff or something else. You can see we are going to gank the Spectre here. A really nice Shackle shot by the Windrunner, and Spectre's going to go down here. You can see Broodmother does pop the BKB to stop the dispersion damage, and they do get a kill on the Spectre. And Optimus picks up an unstoppable streak. So that's a really good play, and that puts him down pretty far. He basically had his Radiance, but now he's not able to pick it up, and we're able to be much more aggressive, and we're going to go push top lane. You can see I'm running down to get top lane. I'm going to come in from the side, and I'm basically going to hang around here, trying to get a fissure block on one of them. He does come here, and we're playing a bit timid because we don't know if we want to go in. I do get a fissure block on the Clockwork. However, we're not really in position. Crystal Maiden's over this way, and Broodmother and Windrunner were too far back to really go in on that. So I'm just going to stand around here because we are going to push the lane, and there's really no need for me to be in lane. I'm trying to stay. You want to stay as Earthshaker. You want to stay really far back because you want to just be able to lob out your fissures and then walk in and throw your ult. If you're the one getting initiated on Earthshaker, there's something wrong. That's what Clockwork's trying to do. Clockwork's job is to initiate on me, and my job's not to get initiated on him. So you can see a really nice Force Staff. However, what I mess up is I thought there was going to be a Shackle shot, but the Shackle shot didn't actually land. Luckily for us, though, Windrunner does have a Dagon, and she is able to pick up the kill. And you can see I do get hit by AA's ultimate. Lich's ultimate bounces on me one time. Unfortunately, it doesn't bounce back, and Spectre comes in. Again, fortunately, he decides not to TP to me, and he TPs on the Windrunner. And you can see here, I do fissure off the Spectre, and he ends up right on top of the fissure. So it's actually a pretty decent fissure, and he barely escapes with almost no HP. I was actually running up to try to ultimate because ultimating just the Spectre, while normally it's not worth it to ultimate one hero, if it is for their enemy carries, it's pretty much worth it. But because of that team fight, we are able to get the tower. I just fissure off the creeps to try to push the lane. So we are going to get a tower. And I'm going to fast forward a little bit again because it's just going to turn back to turtling for a bit of time. Because that's essentially what they're doing, and we're slowly going to ramp times. We're just going to go Roshan because they really can't stop us. We have complete map control, and there's really nothing they can do about it. Anti-Mage is playing very aggressive, but he can afford to because he's got Manta, he's got Blink, and he's got Spell Shield. He's really an annoying carry to face against. So we're just kind of chilling around Roshan, waiting for the Anti-Mage to come because we really need his DPS. And we do smoke in because if you look at their view, they do have a ward here, and they might have seen us go into Roshan without it. And if they did see us with their amount of long-range spells, you can see that their ults are coming off. They would have probably been able to do a Roshan steal, or at least kill the Anti-Mage who gets very low during the Roshan with Ancient Apparition ult and Clockwork Rocket. So we're able to get up the Aegis on Anti-Mage, and that's pretty much going to be the doom of them. You can see that Windrunner, again, Dagon's the Roshan to take the Roshan kill. I'm going to fast forward it a bit. Okay, so Broodmother gets initiated on, and this is a poor fight for us. We should not have fought this fight. With Broodmother dead, there's really nothing we're going to be able to do. Spectre's got the Radiance. I come in, and I do get an ultimate, and then I fissure off both of them to try to get the kill on the Sven. We do get the kill on the Sven, however, Spectre just comes around and starts rampaging with his ultimate. He gets the kill on the Windrunner. He's going to start moving after the Crystal Maiden, and he's already got a double kill, so this is not really a good fight for us. We don't want to continuously feed the Spectre like we have been doing. He's really farmed. A good TP by the Crystal Maiden, Anti-Mage gets away, so it's not the worst fight for us. However, Spectre is 5-1, and he does have more creep kills than the Anti-Mage by quite a bit, so that's really not a good position for us to be in. You don't want to feed their enemy carry of all heroes. So they're going to go continue to farm, and we're just going to respawn, and we're going to start off our strategy again. We're basically going to go back to what we did at the beginning. Us four are going to push bottom, and Broodmother is going to AFK top and push top solo, and try to take down the Rex. And that's really the best strategy for us to do. You can see that Anti-Mage illusion is just going to get evaporated, and we're basically going to go up the Clockwork. Here, I just fissure off the Clockwork. It's a good fissure. It blocks the Clockwork, doesn't block the Anti-Mage, and we're pretty much able to get a fairly easy kill. You can see I'm just chasing after him. I get one hit in. Anti-Mage does ult that. I'm not sure why he ulted that. He probably could have just blinked and attacked it twice, but it's not a big deal because Anti-Mage's ult will be back in 60 seconds. He is level 16, so it's been good play all around by him. We do catch the Spectre, and you can see how much damage Dispersion is doing. However, we're not really going to be able to catch Spectre. He's got Phase Boots now and the Radiance, so unless Windrunner can get a really good Shackle, we're not going to be able to get the Spectre, so we back off. Spectre does run this way, and you can see Lich is there as well, so Anti-Mage is playing super aggressive because he does have the Aegis. He is going to be going Battle Fury, and he just blinks into their entire team. A really good spell dodge against Sven, and we're actually able to start off a team fight. You can see I fissured the multiple heroes on the side lane, trying not to block off Anti-Mage as well because we thought Anti-Mage was going to be in trouble. However, he's really not. You can see a weird Force Staff. He tried to hit something that he didn't. You can see that Anti-Mage using his ult early is going to hurt us here. However, I do get a really good fissure off, and he's able to go beyond Godlike because of it. So it's nice play all around by our team, and they're pretty much on the ropes. They're basically being held in the game by Spectre because the rest of their heroes are underfarmed. You can see I announced that I'm 400 from Blink because basically I'm saying I'm going to go try to get my 400 gold to get a Blink Dagger. I am going to sit around middle because we are going to do a team fight, but after that I'm going to go bottom, and I'm just going to try to get my Blink Dagger. So usually you're not going to really farm as Earthshaker. However, your team probably is going to let you get the farm because getting a blink on Earthshaker, it can be a huge game-breaking thing because it's pretty much the main item you get on Earthshaker in general. If they had like a Zeus on their team, and I'm not sure what that Force Staff was about. If they had a Zeus on their team and another hero like a Spectre Weaver or something like that instead of the Lich, then I'd most definitely begin to Force Staff over the Blink Dagger. However, with just the Spectre to cancel my Blink Dagger, I feel pretty confident that I'm actually going to still be able to use it. You don't want to get a Blink Dagger against a big global team with a whole bunch of heroes that cancel your AoE or your Blink Dagger because then you're never going to be able to use it and you're going to be extremely weak. So I'm going to go bottom and I'm just going to fissure the creeps and farm up my Blink Dagger. So I do pick up my Blink, and now we're able to be even more aggressive. Because now I've got pretty much my core item. Anti-Mage is extremely farmed. He's pretty close to his Battle Fury. Broodmother is just going to push top, and we're going to start putting pressure on the bot lane because now is the time when Broodmother is strong enough that we're actually able to take down he's able to take down the Rex, and we're going to force a TP in from Spectre is basically the plan so that he leaves Broodmother alone. So I'm going to speed it up for a second. Okay. So my positioning here is I'm staying pretty far back. I don't want to be initiated on because that's your goal. Clockwork's going to try to initiate on me. I do get my Blink Dagger canceled, but that's not a big deal. See, Clockwork has to go on the Crystal Maiden, and then I'm able to run up a really good Shackle Shot. So I save my fissure. I fissure off the Lich because this is the path he's going to run. Unfortunately, Lich does get his ultimate off, and Crystal Maiden does die. I managed to pick up the kill on the Lich. But see, Lich was here. I fissured off the Lich so he can't run anywhere. And he just threw off his ultimate as a desperate plea. And he did manage to get the Crystal Maiden. Even though there was creeps around and 3 other heroes, it did bounce on her twice. So unfortunately for Crystal Maiden, she does get picked off like that. And you notice, I'm still staying pretty far back. Because you really, as Earthshaker, it's I can't stress it enough. If you're getting initiated on, you're doing something wrong. So you can see Anti-Mage is going to go balls deep. He's pretty much able to constantly because of it, because of the Aegis and everything. A good 4-staff by Windrunner, and I'm going to wait for my Fissure to see if the Spectre actually TPs. He doesn't, and he's actually going after Broodmother. But see, when they go after Broodmother, we just push bot lane. It's a double bind. It's like a double bind, and you really can't do anything about it either direction, especially when us three are actually stronger than them in general. See, he just picks off the Anti-Mage, and pretty much you can see that the Anti-Mage's extra levels and the farm he got early is really hurting them a bunch. He does get kited here, which is really good play by the Ancient Apparition. But in general, the game's pretty much over. Anti-Mage is able to do whatever he wants. I didn't have any of those big ults that you see in like Rudo. You see, I block off the creeps here. This is another good fissure. I block it off so he has to run all the way around to get up to the Windrunner, and he is able to catch up to me because he does have that. So I just throw off my ultimate because I'm going to die anyway, and I'm hoping Anti-Mage is going to be able to get the kill. However, Anti-Mage isn't able to get the kill. Now, ulting before you die as a hero like Earthshaker or Tidehunter is kind of interesting. If you're doing it to save yourself, it's a poor idea, just in general, unless you're absolutely sure you're going to get a kill. And even then, it's usually a poor idea unless it's on one of their primary 3 farmers, especially on like Tidehunter. However, in that scenario, I thought that Optimus was going to be able to get the kill with his ultimate. I didn't realize that it was still on cooldown, so he wasn't quite able to get the kill, but it's still a good idea to throw down your ultimate if you're going to die in the middle of a big team fight. However, if you're solo going to die, just save it, because your ultimate cooldown has a longer timer than your death timer does, and you're really going to need your ultimate when they get up. Especially if they would have actually pushed this game. You can notice we have all of our outer towers. That's when Earthshaker is best, because they're going to clump up, and you're going to be able to just blink in and ult in general. So in order to keep this short, I'm going to speed up a bit again. There's just one more thing I want to show. We're talking about a custom game that Crystal Main wanted to play afterwards. You can see that Broodmother still is pushing top and is really just maintaining. He's keeping at least one hero here, which is what Spectre's doing. Which is what Spectre is forced to do. And Winter gets, he kind of fails the Shackle. He's trying to hit it off the creep again. A really good 4-staff, and they're going to be able to pick up another kill. I try to get in position to help out, but I'm not able to make it there in time. And me and Anti-Mage are just going to push bottom because we're trying to, again, buy time for Broodmother, and we're doing a 3-way push now. So I do get hit on by the Ancient Apparition, and you can see how baller Anti-Mage is being. He does blink it, and I'd go and I get a blink on. Unfortunately, it's not the best, but you can see this fissure here. I blocked off the Sven, but I got both the Sven and the Ancient Apparition in it. Unfortunately, I am going to die. I almost got away, but it's too hard to do that with the Spectre image and the real Spectre coming to attack me. And you can see we're pretty much just going to get the racks. Anti-Mage is too farm for them to really stop. Even Spectre's not able to fight him anymore. He does, again, ultimate when he's not quite needed to. But you can see we get bot racks at the exact same time Broodmother gets top racks. So pretty much our plan all game worked out. And that's how you need to play it when you get a Broodmother. And you can see that at the end of the game, you can see that the farm on Winter is 107 to 49 for Lich. And that's really because of our ganks middle constantly. So if you're going to pick an Earthshaker in like a Scrim or an in-house game, you're definitely going to want to have him roam if he's not in the tri-lane. And you can see how effective the roam with the Earthshaker is. He's able to block off the lane. You typically want to block off, he's able to typically block off either here or here if you're on the Sentinel side. And you always want to make sure you're blocking off the place where they're most likely to run to. So you need to just think a little bit ahead of where, if I was in their position, where would I run to? And then you just want to block off that place. And you also want to make sure you stun them as well, because if you don't stun them, you're losing out on the damage, which is pretty significant, especially early game, and you're losing off on the stun time. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Have a nice day.